We started Findings to continue the methods and teachings of Sister Corita Kent, to elaborate on the creative process of each individual's abilities.
Corita was actually a colleague of Andy Warhol's. They were both pop artists. But Corita's message was different than Andy's. Her message was finding the good and the glorious in everyday life. It was about promoting the human spirit and creativity that is found in every person.
I'm a girl from San Pedro. I grew up here. When I went to Immaculate Heart College and first encountered Corita's art and her method, it was my first real experience of self, of learning. It opened me up. I want more of this. I want to see how she gets there.
I was a student of Corita's back in the 60s and early 70s, and along with some other students, we stayed connected. So there was a conversation at one point among 5 of us that maybe it would be a good idea to establish a center, in a sense, that would promote the concepts of Corita's educational efforts.
The idea is to continue teaching people about Corita because she had so much to share with the world.
We deeply felt her inspiration and her message to the world. So it was because of that that we became very dedicated to continuing her legacy. So one day Annette said to me, she had a dream. And her dream was to eventually have a place where we could display the art of Sister Corita and introduce her to the community of San Pedro. So that's how Findings began. She was persistent. I've never seen anybody so determined to achieve that dream against so many obstacles.
There was no culture in San Pedro, downtown San Pedro, although they were just beginning to set up the annex, and Liz Schindler had been working forever on the Warner Grand. There wasn't a vibrant culture.
Our hope was to be part of ending the blight on this street in San Pedro and to help enhance the arts district, which was just getting off the ground at that point. So we wanted to help that, and we wanted to offer our services to bring creativity to downtown.
San Pedro was perceived as a place of blight, and many artists never failed to find San Pedro as a place to discover new creativity and newness, which often helps address the sense of being blight. Well, look to yourselves, look inside yourselves for your own creativity. And San Pedro was that.
We were able to get this place here on 6th Street, right next to the Warner Grand Theater, but it was used for storage, and they had old organs and sets and all kinds. It was packed. It was a mess.
In the space was floor-to-ceiling organ parts, floor-to-ceiling. There were 5 full organs crammed into this space. So we looked in and we looked at the architecture. We looked that it was a storage unit of things that probably would never be used again. So that was our inspiration. We said, this looks like the space that needs to come back to be what it is.
Rod Stevens was among a group of volunteers that cleaned up the space and created a new art center. Over the years, Findings has evolved into many things, including serving as a permanent home for many works of Corita Kent. It includes a work studio at Angels Gate Cultural Center. Findings has a women's project that allows immigrant women to sell their works. And Findings has a collaborative program called Shows for Causes that allows other nonprofits to exhibit at their gallery.
Just before Corita passed away, she and I had a long visit, and she asked me to continue her cause. And the idea is to do shows for causes. So we have everything from schools, children's centers, homeless women's shelters, Beacon House, elders programs. Even the pets are welcome here. And also we're very committed to environmental and shows for justice.
Findings is not just an art gallery. It's much more than that. We do have a small gallery showing Corita's work, But we are also interested in doing what Carita taught, which is to help other people, all people, to realize they have a creative center within themselves. And they need to find that. They can find it by coming here because it's a teaching place. It is a sacred place. It's a place that's supposed to really feed the soul.
One of the ways that Findings helps feed the soul is through its internship program, which helps young people nurture their creativity by learning about Carita's methods of art education.
Starting out at Findings was a really timely, great experience for me because it was my first summer out from my first year at undergrad at Vassar College. At that point, I wasn't even sure I was going to continue on to get an undergraduate art degree. I just got my MFA from Otis last week, so it was a life-changing experience.
The internship program is one of our key projects, and we have watched many students now start here. We were honored to have Henrik Rousseau be one of those interns when he was back in his early days of college. His project was to create a mural for Altasea.
We really believe in doing collaborations with other organizations. So we decided to collaborate with Altasea at the Port of Los Angeles and have them create a mural, a big mural that could express what the vision of Altasea was. So Henry and Logan Fox, a former art teacher in San Pedro, Annette, and a couple of the students from the Port of LA High School all came in at the same time as interns, and their project was to create this huge mural.
I love seeing how Logan included other people in his art process very like authentically and excitedly, and I was very proud of the final painting. I thought it was quite beautiful.
From the beginning, Findings wanted to be a part of the arts district here in San Pedro, but at the same time, we wanted to gather us all the artists, all the galleries, in a sense of creating a community, which is also what Los Angeles wanted in the arts district of San Pedro.
Carita is really implanted in us that the way that we will bring peace and love and art and creativity to the world is that we work together. The idea is that we unite the art cultures of this town rather than separating us each in our little boxes, that we become a union rather than a separate entity.
The legacy that we are most proud of for Findings is that we both accomplished what we had set out, which was to bring a creative presence to this part of San Pedro, and it's not only a gallery for art experience, but it's also a studio for people to discover their own artistic expression.
Carita's most profound belief was that we are all creative, but we need to find that creative spot in our hearts and souls and minds. Because if we can go there, it will immediately increase our self-esteem. And that was the biggest thing she was concerned about. And she made sure it happened in education, in the learning process, in her works, and in her comments on life.
We are still interested in findings, the next findings, the next little bit that's going to open up the next part of this world.
The method that Carita taught me, I think the most important thing is positivity and how to take any situation and find the good in it and the positive, no matter what it be, whether it be illness, anything, tragedies, to see that there's a message in it. I've learned that through her, and it keeps me going every day to continue to be positive and find the good in everything.